The FIFINE AmpliGame H13 USB headset. Let's review it. Starting with the unboxing, here's the front of the box. It shows some of the key features, which we're going to get into, as well as the sides of the box also showing more of the features. And then here is a look at the back. Opening up the box, you're greeted with the user manual, and underneath that is the headphones wrapped in a plastic wrap. The cord to the headset is attached, so you cannot detach it, unfortunately, but it also has a USB control box on it, which can control different features, which we'll get more into later on. There's also a microphone, which is detached in the box, which we're going to test out the quality of that microphone versus some of the other FIFINE microphones, just so you can get an idea of how it kind of sounds. So here is a good look at the headphones. I went with the white colorway. You can see the nice purple stitching along the top. It really pops with the white collar, which the FIFINE logo is also embedded into the top, and then their signature smiley face, which is on the earpiece, which by the way is RGB. It has multiple modes, in fact, so if you want to change the color up on them, there's a button to do so on the side of the headset, which once again with the white colorway, I think the RGB really does just pop with this. And then there's two other colors as well, which is a black and pink, which you can see here. So let's first just start by my first impressions with this right out of the box. It feels nice and comfortable. They're super light, coming in at 390 grams. The padding is like a memory foam type material, which they are over the ear headphones, so that is pretty important. However, they are not compatible with Xbox, I believe. In terms of the sound quality of the actual headset, it's kind of hard to showcase that on a video, unfortunately. However, they do sound good. It's pretty clear audio, and there are multiple different EQ modes on the USB controller, which there is 4 different ones. There's default, game, music, and movie. Here are what those EQ curves look like for more of the technical people. They actually display it on the website. Also on the controller is a 7.1 surround sound button, so we're going to see what that fully does in action once we put the headset on, as well as a game chat balance. So if you want to hear more game audio than your party audio, you can do that, as well as the typical mute button. All right, so here is what the mic quality sounds like on the H13 headphones. In particular, this is what it sounds like directly out of the box, so I haven't messed with any of the settings on the mic. I have no filters on, so as soon as you plug it in, this is exactly what the microphone's going to sound like. Now, however, we did mention there are some different options on the USB controller, like for example a noise gate and all these different preset modes, which we're going to look at now. So just starting off with the background noise, there's not much background noise in my room right now, so this is what it sounds like. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn that mode on. So now noise cancellation is on, and I'm not sure if you can hear a difference. I'm going to have to look back at this clip so you guys can kind of get a rough idea of what it sounds like and doesn't sound like. Okay, so I'm here on Megabonk because I wanted to get a kind of background noise while I'm testing out these different microphone buttons. So we're just going to be doing a live reaction basically. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to hear these changes because it is through the headset. But let's just start with the 7.1 button. So if I click this, immediately the game gets like noticeably louder. So you can really tell about the like surround sound feature, and I'm sure it would probably be even better with like a lot more bass going on. So now I'm going to turn that off and try the equalizer modes. So starting off with the first equalizer mode, instantly it got a lot more quiet. I feel like the fireball, I can hear a little bit more of the like thump, but overall it did just get a little noticeably quieter. Now I'm going to go to the second equalizer mode, and right away it got a little bit louder than before. I'm actually hearing a less of the movement sounds, but I hear more of the fireball, which obviously I'm sure the sound effects and stuff would vary dependent on what you were doing. And then going to the third and final equalizer mode, and it kind of got a little bit more muffled. I can't notice too much of a difference between this one and the last one, but like I said, obviously these equalizer modes are made for very specific things like music and stuff. But I did just want to get a quick like test on what I would be using this on personally, which would simply just be gaming. And then if I hold the equalizer button in, then it turns off and goes back to default, which yeah, I can instantly just see the difference between that. But I will say, if I was just playing this, I do like the 7.1 mode on. It does sound way better that way. This is me using the AmpliGame A8 microphone. I just wanted to get a comparison, so I was actually using this microphone for the whole beginning of the video. However, there were a bunch of filters on it. This is what the mic sounds like with no filters compared to the headset mic. And now this is the FIFINE K688 microphone. It's a dynamic microphone, so it picks up audio from the top rather than the sides. So the pickup pattern is more meant for you to be kind of closer to the mic compared to like the other microphones where you're talking to the side. I wanted to use these two microphones since they're pretty different. That way you could get a more authentic sound comparison, so you can compare it against some of FineFine's other products. So hopefully you're able to kind of pick up an idea on what the USB headset microphone sounds like, in case you're wondering how the actual headset part of this sounds like. However, do keep in mind the microphone is completely detachable, so if you want to use something like a normal USB microphone and then just use these as headphones, then you are able to do that. Overall, I think these headphones are very good for the price, and if you do want to pick these up, they're going to be the first link in the description down below, as well as in the pinned comment.